Welcome to the first lesson of the Mastering CSS Selectors section in the Ultimate CSS course that nobody taught before. In this lesson, we will delve into the fundamental concepts of CSS selectors.
Understanding how to select HTML elements using CSS selectors is crucial for effectively styling and manipulating web pages.
We'll explore various types of selectors, including element selectors,
Class selectors,
ID selectors,
descendant selectors,
child selectors,
adjacent sibling selectors,
general sibling selectors,
and group selectors.
By the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of these basic CSS selectors and how to use them in real-world scenarios. Element selectors. The element selector is the most basic type of selector in CSS. It targets HTML elements based on their tag names. Let's take a look at some examples. In this example, we have an HTML page that contains an H1 tag heading and multiple P tags paragraphs. The CSS code inside the style tag selects all H1 tags elements and applies a red color. Similarly, it selects all P tags elements and applies a blue background color. The resulting HTML page output is like this.
Class selectors. The class selector allows us to target elements based on their class attribute. This selector is denoted by a dot followed by the class name. Let's see an example. In this example, we have an HTML page with an H2 tag heading, a P tag paragraph, and a dev tag element. The CSS code selects all elements with the class highlight and applies a yellow background color to them. Therefore, the heading tag and the dev tag are highlighted with a yellow background, while the paragraph tag remains unaffected. The resulting HTML page output is like this.
ID selectors. The ID selector targets elements based on their unique ID attribute. It is denoted by a hashtag, followed by the ID name. Let's explore an example. In this example, we have an HTML page with an H1 tag heading and a P tag paragraph. The H1 tag heading has an ID attribute set to main heading. The CSS code selects the element with the ID main heading and applies a green color. As a result, the heading tag text "Welcome to my website" is displayed in green, while the paragraph remains unaffected. The resulting HTML page output is like this.
Descendant selectors. The descendant selector allows us to target elements that are descendants of a specific parent element. It is represented by a space between the parent and child element selectors. Let's see an example. In this example, we have an HTML page with a dev tag element that contains multiple P tag paragraphs. The CSS code selects all span tag elements that are descendants of a dev and applies a bold font weight to them. As a result, the text bold and another bold within the span tags will be displayed in bold font weight. The resulting HTML page output is like this.
Child selectors. The child selector allows us to target elements that are direct children of a specific parent element. It is represented by a greater than symbol between the parent and child element selectors. Let's explore an example. In this example, we have an HTML page with a body tag element that contains multiple H1 tags headings, including a nested dev tag element with additional nested H1 tag headings. The CSS code selects only the H1 tag heading that is a direct child of the body tag element and applies a red color to it. Therefore, the last H1 tag heading will be displayed in red, while the nested H1 tags headings remain unaffected. The resulting HTML page output is like this.
Adjacent sibling selectors. The adjacent sibling selector allows us to target elements immediately preceded by a specific sibling element. Let's explore an example. This example shows an HTML page with multiple P tags paragraphs and H2 tags headings. The CSS code selects the H2 tag heading that is immediately preceded by a P tag paragraph and applies a green color to it. Therefore, the first and second H2 heading tags will be displayed in green because a P tag paragraph directly precedes them, while the last H2 tag heading will be unaffected. The resulting HTML page output is like this.
General Sibling Selectors. The General Sibling Selector allows us to target all elements preceded by a specific sibling element. Let's explore an example. In this example, we have an HTML page that contains H1 tag heading, several H2 tags headings, and P tags paragraphs. The goal is to style all paragraphs that come after the H1 tag heading using the General Sibling Selector. The CSS rule targets all P tags paragraphs that are siblings of an H1 tag heading. In this case, it selects all the paragraphs that come after an H1 tag element and applies the style of changing their text color to red. However, the two subheadings that come after the H1 tag element will not have their text color changed to red. The resulting HTML page output is like this.
Group selectors. Group selectors are useful when you want to apply the same styles to different elements without repeating the CSS rules for each element individually. Let's explore an example. In this example, we have an HTML page that contains headings H1 tag and H2 tag and a paragraph P tag. The goal is to apply certain styles to multiple elements using group selectors. The CSS rule selects H1 tags, H2 tags, and P tags elements and applies the same styles to them. In this case, the selected elements will have a blue color. The resulting HTML page output is like this.
In this lesson, we explored the fundamental CSS selectors, including the element selectors, class selectors, ID selectors, descendant selectors, child selectors, adjacent sibling selectors, general sibling selectors, and group selectors.
We learned how to use each selector and saw real-world examples with corresponding HTML and CSS code.
Understanding and mastering CSS selectors is essential for building effective and targeted styles on your web pages.
With these powerful tools, you can precisely select and style elements, providing a consistent and visually appealing user experience.
In the lecture resources, you will find all source code used in this lesson. Additionally, you will find a CSS cheat sheet that demonstrates all selectors list that we might not be able to explain all of them in this section.
In the next lectures, we will dive deeper into CSS selectors and learn how to select pseudo-classes and pseudo-elements and explain in detail the attribute selectors. See you in the next lecture.